Hey guys, what's up? So today is the deck profile of the Sylvan deck that I used in the last showcase. Now, there are a few things that I want to talk about before I actually get into this thing. First off, I'm sorry about the showcase. It's not that I think it was bad or anything like that. I think it was actually pretty decent for what it was. It's just that it was really rushed. So basically there are definitely misplays on my part, misplays on my opponent's part, and just looking back, there are sometimes where I don't think I did anything wrong. It's just that, like, looking back now, there are some plays that I just missed and that would have either been cooler to see, I guess, like more combos, or just would have won the duel earlier, if that makes any sense. And the reason is being rushed is because of, well, this card. And the reason that, I've tried finishing this in the past 3 days is because of Soul Charge, but I'll talk about that later. And the reason that I picked the deck up is because of this past ARG. It was ARG Philly, and a person by the name of Joe Giorlando piloted this deck, which is kind of the next point I'm going to get to. And what he did with it was just so, like, some of the duels he had were just so, like, ridiculous, and some of the plays he had. There was a duel against an Evil Swarm player where he literally won turn one. If that, like, I'm actually gonna show, yeah, I'm probably gonna show that at the end of this, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But basically what I'm trying to say with the second point is that this is not my deck. I had no, like, influence on this deck at all. This is card for card what, that player was using at this last ARG. The original idea for me was to use this, get, the basic idea of Sylvans and see what they can do. And I just was like, in the first few duels I realized, like, I have no idea what I'm doing with this deck. And then as, like, that night progressed, as, Sunday night progressed, I kind of started learning what did what, when to stack what. And I just got really comfortable with this version of the deck, and I didn't want to mess around with it exactly. So that's why this is his build, so I'm not going to take any credit for it. And I'm also going to try and find an article or video for you guys actually, like, explaining the card choices, like why, you run 3 of this, or why this card isn't run, and why this card is run, and stuff like that. So I'll try and find something, that'll be down in the description if you guys are interested in it. But yeah, I guess let's just get onto the deck profile. So first off, 3 Sylvan Hermitries. Hermitry is basically the big beater of the deck, level 8, 2700. With him being level 8, obviously you have access to your rank 8 synchros. And when he's on the field once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant, send it to the graveyard, and then you get to draw a card. And if he is excavated, you get to look up to the top 3 cards of your deck and rearrange them in any order you want. So basically with this guy, or what the point of this whole deck is to kind of like stack your deck in a way so that you know what you're excavating, get your effects off that. And with this guy, if you know what's on top of your deck, you excavate the monster, then you get to just plus off it like crazy. So it's a really good card in this deck. Next up, 3 Sylvan Sage Koya, level 7 of the deck, and just allows you for some easy rank 7 plays. Also 2600, which is nice. He's really easy to summon because when a Sylvan monster is sent to the graveyard, so it's either from the field, from your hand, from the deck, wherever, you get to special summon this guy from your hand. And when he's on the field, you can activate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant, send it to the graveyard. And that's really it. Also, when this guy is excavated, you get to add a Sylvan spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So it's how you recycle your Charities, your Mount Sylvania, and any other spells or traps you might be playing. Next up, 3 Sylvan Marshall Leaf, and I'll just throw a Como Shroomer in here together. When Marshall Leaf is excavated, you get to destroy 1 monster on the field. When Como Shroomer is excavated, you get to destroy a spell or trap. Marshall Leaf, when it's normal summoned, you get to excavate 1 or 2 cards from the top of your deck. And Como Shroomer, when it's flipped face up, you get to excavate up to 5. So they are a little different, but like you really play them for their excavating effects, or for their excavated effects. Like when they're excavated, this destroys a monster, this destroys spells and trap, and that's really their main purpose. Obviously, being able to excavate 5 with Como Shroomer is nice, but it is a little slow, so that's kind of. But you definitely find yourself in positions where you need to set this guy and where you need to normal summon this guy. But we'll get into that later. Possibly. Next up, 1 Sylvan Cherub Sprout. Cherub Sprout is actually really interesting in this deck. When it's excavated, you get to special summon 1 level 1 monster, so you get your Princess Sprout out of the deck, you get your Spore out of the deck, and really it depends on what your field looks like. That will dictate which one you actually go into. And when this guy is special summoned, you get to excavate 1 or 2 cards from the top of your deck and just kind of go from there, but you don't really special summon him. I think I did once in the showcase, or at least in one of the replays I have as of right now. And I mean, it definitely came in handy for that occasion, but you don't really do that too often. Next up, 2 Princess Sprout. Really an amazing card. When she's on the field, you contribute her to excavate the top card of your deck. And regardless of what it is, it's going to be sent to the graveyard. So it's not like, you know, the other cards where it's if it's a plant type, it gets excavated. Whatever this card is, it gets excavated and then sent to the graveyard. So keep that in mind. And basically, once it's excavated, you get to add 1 sprout type monster from your graveyard to top of your deck. And these are the only 2 sprout monsters that are in the deck, and I think in the game. Don't quote me on that. And when she is excavated from the top of your deck, you can special summon her and then declare a number or a level between 1 and 8, and she becomes that level. So that's really, really crucial for setting up with XYZ plays with these 2 guys, and even Synchro plays with Spore. Just something to keep in mind. Next up, 2 Lone Fire and a Spore. I mean, it's a plant deck, so why not run them? Real quick, I will touch on Dandelion and Debris Dragon, because those are kind of, you know, the plant engine, like those. What, Debris Dragon, Spore, Lone Fire, Debris Dragon, Spore, Lone Fire, Dandelion. Those are really like the 4 cards that are known as like the quote-unquote plant engine. Dandelion in this deck, obviously, just from testing, it doesn't really seem like it has that much of a purpose. Like, if it was more synchro oriented, I guess I could kind of see it. But as of right now, it just doesn't really serve a purpose. Like, having it as a rank 3, or having it as a level 3, we only run 1 rank 3 that doesn't even really see play. And the tokens don't really seem that important. And Debris Dragon, I mean, we run Black Rose, but the only target would be Princess Sprout, Lone Fire, and, you know, anyways, just not worth running. I don't think, or at least in this build. So there's that. Next up, 3 Kuribandit, just good for the deck. I mean, it excavates everything, and all these monsters get their effects off being excavated. And then the spells you would grab are huge for the deck. So just running 3 is, you know, basically mandatory. 3 Rose Archer. Rose Archer was, well, actually, I want to talk about Royal Decree real quick, because when I first saw this deck, I figured, you know, it could benefit from a Royal Decree or like a Trapstone or something like that, because I didn't really know Rose Archer was a card, to be honest. Like, I understood that Como Shurima act as like a pseudo MST, and I still figured that, you know, it could use like some like spell and trap hate, or trap hate, I guess. But that's where Rose Archer comes in. It's kind of like a poor man's wiretap. It's not a counter trap, so they can respond to it with another trap. Like, if you have like a full field of, you know, Hermitries or whatever for whatever reason, and you attack, they activate 1 Mirror Force. They can chain another Mirror Force to it, so it's not as good as wiretap in that regards. But since it's a monster, they can't respond with their own wiretap or 7 tools or something like that. So it's good. Like, it definitely is good. It's just different, and it's limited also, because you do need a plant on the field to activate it. So it's a cool card, I will say that, and it definitely has, you know, saved a few games for me. Next up, Veiler. Really, Veiler, I think, is an amazing card, especially with the new rule that's apparently coming to the OCG, and I'm sure eventually to the TCG, where the effect will last, or her effect negation will last until the end of the turn, not until the end phase, if that makes any sense. Because like right now, things like Yamato, Kuribandit get around Veiler because they activate during the end phase, and Veiler negates until the end phase, if that makes any sense. So really, just that interaction gets a whole lot better in the favor of Veiler, and that's just something to keep in mind for later down the road, and it'll probably be in my deck more often. And also, just there was one. Oh, and also because Felgrand is basically always on the field, and not always, but is usually on the field. Having a Felgrand or 2 on the field and like a Veiler or 2 in your hand, your opponent isn't doing much. So that's a very nice card in combo with Felgrand. And for the last of the monsters, we have 1 Blaster. Blaster, I was definitely, you know, interested in as to why Blaster's in this deck, but after playing it, it's really obvious. Like, Blaster gets rid of your dead Hermitries in your hand, gets rid of the Como Shurima in your hand, because, like, Como Shurima was nice and all, but again, it is a little slow. This is immediate, like, okay, boom, send it to the graveyard, get to destroy something. And same idea with Hermitry, obviously, and same idea with Lone Fire if you want to use it for the effect for some reason. You know, you get to destroy something and fill up your graveyard for Soul Charge and Miracle Fertilizer. You get to banish your dead Como Shurima that are already in the graveyard to bring out a 2800 beater, a level 7 2800 beater, so it can be used for your rank 7s. And it's really just really good in this deck. It has its purposes, I guess, and it's just something that shouldn't be like thrown aside, because when I first, like, the first time I saw Dragon Rollers in this deck was when basically it was all the Dragon Rollers. It was Tidal, Redox, Tempest, Blaster, and I mean, in theory it could work because you have your fire, your wind, your water, and your earth, I guess, but Blaster is the only one, in my opinion, that's actually worth it after testing it. So I guess I could try Redox out because, you know, Flower Knight is a card that I do want to test out on this deck. And, you know, Redox would work. And it would also, you know, quote-unquote fill your grave up. So that's something to keep in mind, I suppose. But as of right now, Blaster seems to really solidify his spot. The other Dragon Reels, I don't really know. Haven't really tested him. I'm sure I will, but anyway. Onto the spells, you have 3 Sylvan Charity. It's basically Graceful Charity, but kind of better because you get to stack your deck, and then, you know, the whole point of this deck is to have something on the field that will excavate your stacked cards, and then you get the effects of those monsters that were excavated and just kind of go from there. So it's really nice, and, you know, I take that back. It might not be better than Graceful Charity, but it is a Graceful Charity for Sylvans, and it's just amazing. 3-Mount Sylvania, they're really 2 purposes for this deck. The first purpose that I use it, you know, most often for is to kind of like disrupt my opponent's plays. Like if I have Mount Sylvania on the field, I'll pitch a plant to fill up my graveyard for these cards later, and also like set a Martial Leaf or a Kumashrumo just to like let my opponent know, like, okay, I established this field, and, you know, whatever that field is, and I have a Kumashrumo ready to destroy any spell or trap you have, or I have a Martial Leaf ready to destroy any monster you have at the end of your turn. So keep that in the back of your mind. Not only do you have to play around my field, you have to play around one of your monsters or one of your spell and traps getting destroyed at the end of this turn. So it's just kind of like mind games in a sense, and also just nice protection. And also obviously set up your own plays, because like I said, you fill up your graveyard to activate this card. You know, send like a Hermitry. If you have a Miracle Fertilizer, you would send like a Hermitry, put one of these, you know, put the Princess on top of your deck and just kind of go from there. It's really really nice. Next up, the Miracle Fertilizer is just like a Call the Haunted on crack, kind of. Like, it's a spell card, so it's immediately faster than Call the Haunted. You can activate it multiple ones per turn, obviously, and you can activate it once every turn, so it's not just limited to one use like Call the Haunted is. And it's just a really amazing card. You do have to give up your normal summoner set, but you don't really worry about it when you use Soul Charge, because Soul Charge, I mean, it's stupid, and just these two together is not really is really not that fair. But yeah, Soul Charge is the reason I kind of mentioned earlier why this whole thing is being rushed. And also, if I sound like I'm trying to speed through this, this is like the 4th time I'm recording because my program just kept... Anyway, Soul Charge is really a stupid card. It's probably, in my opinion, it's gonna go to 1, but like I don't think it's ban worthy. But that's not really a story for... You know what? Actually, here's like a little bit of it. If you want to see what my opinions are, if you want to see what the people over at the Swagatron channel's opinion are, there'll be a link down in the description. They had me over, like, we all 3 of us did a like a banlist prediction video or videos, and looking back at my prediction anyway, it was more of a wish list because I wanted Demock and Spellbook of Judgment to come back, even though spellbooks are still around, so that's probably not the best idea. But it was what I wanted at the time, I guess. So if you want to see what our predictions are, because the ban list apparently still isn't out as I'm recording this, you know, head over there. And like I said, I'm kind of rushing because, or I rushed the showcase because I want this deck to still be relevant for you guys. Like, when you look at the video, I want it to still be relevant for Dev Pro or YGO or even Dueling Network if you decide to play over there. I want it to be like, oh, well, I'm going to maybe take this build or take whatever and go play it. But if this comes out and then the ban list comes out and then like Dev Pro updates with the new ban list, you can't play this, assuming Soul Charge gets hit, obviously, and I don't really think anything else in the deck would be touched, because... But yeah, so I want to get this out of the way because of, you know, Soul Charge being a thing. And also, when the ban list does come out, I will revisit Sylvans later on, because I really do like the deck, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm sure I'll try and find a way. I'm sure other people will find a way to make the deck work, and I'll just, you know, kind of piggyback off that and see what happens from there. Onto the extra deck. 1 Leo, it's 3100 beater that can't be targeted unless it's during your main phase 2, so that's something to keep in mind. It's just a solid card. 1 Crimson Blader, it either takes up space in certain matches and wins you the games in others, so that's just something to keep in mind. It's up to you if you want to keep it. Scrap Dragon, Stardust, they're just 2 really good level 8 synchros. Black Rose, because sometimes you need to clear the field. Armor Arm, I guess I understand it, because sometimes they'll just have like dead monsters on the field, like they're not doing anything, and you can have like Spore synchro off them, then fill your graveyard with Spore and stuff like that. But I haven't made it in an actual duel. I used it against DevBot once, I think, and it actually made the difference, surprisingly. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I haven't run it, I haven't made it yet. One Heliopolis, it's really just a good endgame card. Like if you know you can finish the game up, or if you know like early on the game your opponent wasted a lot of resources to establish a field, try and blow everything up, see what happens. That's my experience with it anyway. 2 Felgran, 1 Felgran is like kind of a staple rank 8 at this point, and this deck makes rank 8s like no problem, so why not run 2? 1 Halsey is just really good at disrupting fields. 1 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, just destroy your opponent XYZs. I'm going to come back to Aria. 1 Draco Sack, 1 Big Eye because they're staple rank 7s, and 1 Equipped Engineer. I've never used this guy like at all, so when I do remake the deck, this guy is probably the first thing to go. Now, one thing about Aria, and really about this whole deck, it's very versatile. Don't go into games with like a linear mindset, if that makes any sense, because this is a very non-linear deck. Like for like kind of an example is my main decks, or my 3 main, are Gustos first of all. Like Gustos are definitely my main right now, and that's why they've been on the channel so much. Hopefully you guys find them somewhat enjoyable. Then Dragunities, which they're not exactly linear, but the way I play them, they kind of, it's just my play style, I guess. And then Boujins, even though I haven't really touched them in ages. So, like, with all those decks, I have a game plan, I have an end game, and that's what I, play the whole duel to get to. With this deck, you don't have that. You have a lot of options open to you at all times, and Aria is kind of like the perfect example, just because you can bounce back your own cards. Like, that's just something to keep in mind. Like, obviously, everyone knows about the rearranging your deck and the whole, like, Excavate, and she has, like, a tiramisu type effect. But just remember, you get to, or really it's a Compulse, except it doesn't target. Just remember you can bounce back your own things. So if you have Miracle Fertilize on the field, feel free to abuse that effect. Like, it really, really comes in handy. So as for these cards, these are cards that I just really were, I was interested as to why they weren't in the deck in the first place. Peacekeeper, I completely understand. I thought it was any plant type when it's excavated, but it's level 4 or lower, so that's kind of loses its purpose right away. Flower Knight, I just like because it's a body. It's an 1800 body. Like all the monsters when they're normal summoned, like if they get Veiled or something, or they're like on the field to stay for whatever reason, because of Veiler usually, like they're just kind of dead. You can't really do anything with them. I mean, Marshleaf is a okay 1500, still pretty weak. Como Shroom was a pretty good 2000 wall, but besides that, if anything gets stopped, they're just kind of there to die. Flower Knight at least can kind of protect himself, because again, he's an 1800 body and he has a very slow effect, but it is, something nonetheless. Oral Decree, I kind of mentioned already. I just think that some trap hate is nice. It just locks your opponents out of their traps, and that's just good to have, I guess. And Peacekeeper I already talked about. So that's it for the deck profile. Hopefully I didn't ramble on for too long, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, there will be a video or an article or something of someone else explaining the deck, someone who actually knows the game better than I do, who knows the deck better than I do, than I currently do anyway. So hopefully they'll be able to explain everything a little better than I was. And also I'm going to throw you guys over to the... Actually, real quick, if any of you know who these two are, let me know. You get like 20 cool points. I found this the other day and I just love it. It works with the deck. And yeah, it makes me so happy. But yeah, I'm going to throw you guys over to the video right now of Joe Giorlando playing Evil Swarm player. It's property of ARG. I own nothing of that. That was part of their stream, all that good stuff. And if you guys like don't watch competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, give this a shot. Like, I really do enjoy it. It's fun, it's entertaining. Like, ARG always has nice streams. Konami apparently just did the European qualifiers, or the European Championship one, and it was beautiful. So if you guys are interested, go check out ARG, go check out the Konami stream, whatever. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Later, guys.
Alright guys, we're back. So,
you started with a lone fire.
Yep. This is kind of start Joe wants. Top battles on fires, make sure now he's on Marshall Leaf in hand, which is not the best thing. He's gonna want Sylvan that charity, that thing back on top, I think, at some point. just to be able to pop Evil Swarm up beyond. He has
funny.
a Soul Charge, that's good. He has a Mount Sylvania, so
That's funny. This guy said 1 super lone fire, 1 gold lone fire.
Is that really what it is? Oh my god. Yo, Joe's a scrub.
No, it's just Joe took a lot of time off, and during that time, lone fire went to 2.
Yeah, but Joe's a scrub, let's be honest.
Don't you ever
Your
call
face,
Joe a
Trevor.
scrub again.
No, it's cool. We were joking. Joking with our buddy Little Jeff earlier about that.
Little Jeff.
Little Jeff.
Call him Little Jeff.
He's the mini version of Jeff Walker.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't think
I
you
probably should.
No, not really. He top 16 with
I've heard
Infernities.
the name,
Or no,
but I
he
don't know
top
who he is.
64 with Infernities. That was really.
Okay.
Yeah, he's more of a local guy. All right, so
Let's do this, Joe.
let's
I'm heavily biased.
yeah, let's make some 8s. All right, so he pitched the Sage Koya for the Mount Sylvania, and now he's going to summon the Cherry Sprout, excavating with the Hermitry. I don't know what he drew. I don't know the Kuribandit's name. Wow. Yep, Soul Charge 3. And this game is probably locked away. I don't is there a way to beat this opening? Like this has happened to me so many times.
But
I don't think you can beat this opening hand.
there's definitely like a way, but
No,
the
I don't
odds
think
of like playing that deck that can beat it, as well as like opening the specific.
I think
combo.
not just beating this opening field, but just like actually winning the game afterwards.
Well, I mean,
like
I'm sure there is a way, but it's a very unlikely way.
yeah.
Like a combination of cards people.
He's gonna
don't
end
run,
with
probably.
2 Felgrands and a Draco Sack, I think. Sage is gonna activate, alright. On fire. Arbitrary. Yeah. Arbitrary is gonna excavate then. Unless he wants to do something else first. Alright, so these guys have a bit of a time extension, but I didn't get to see what that was, but it wasn't Sylvan, obviously.
Yeah, time just got called, but like you said, there's.
I'm surprised he didn't play that Sylvan Charity first.
Minutes.
I'm really surprised by that. I'm also surprised he hasn't put the mushroom on top. What else did he put on top? Marshall Leaf?
I don't know.
See, because he put the mushroom on top, during the end phase when Mount Sylvania excavates, you could pop on his opponent's back row. Let's be honest, opponent's going to have to play back row at this point. You know. So there's a Felgrand number 1. Oh, it's a Stardust. Okay, so you might not make 2 Felgrands. Let's get the Stardust. There's a level 8 Spore, and that's the second Felgrand. And there's a Decree. Oh, he had Decree. Never mind. That's probably why. Alright, so I see a Pandemic in his opponent's hand.
Jesus.
There's an Emptiness.
I just want to see the guy's face, and I can.
Looks like he has a really girly figure.
Freaking anime deck box is in the way.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Frazier was rocking the Mikasa deck box earlier. Wow. I think, do you just scoop at this point?
Oh man.
I think you just scoop, like, because the Stardust is going to negate anything that tries to destroy your Decree. Like, everything you do is dead now.
That's just game, isn't it?
Yeah.